Welcome to our 19th annual Gold Derby Film Awards winners ceremony. All of you, many of you from around the world voted on nominees back a few weeks ago, and over the last month or so, you've been voting for winners. Over 2,500 people from around the world voted on these winners, and all nominations and winners from all 19 years are featured on IMDb on each person's awards page, as well as each film and TV show's awards page. So that's quite an honor. And we will send out certificates, by the way, this morning. They look like the old-fashioned Academy Award certificates this year that used to go out to the nominees. And all of those will be going out to them. And we see people at parties all throughout the year. Well, not this past year, but most years. And they always talk about winning a Gold Derby Award. And it's really quite an honor to present them today, as well as let you know who the winners are over the next half hour. Joining me I'm Chris Beachum, managing editor for Gold Derby. We've got Zach Laws, Marcus Dixon, Daniel Montgomery, Paul Sheehan, and Joyce Eng. And 22 categories coming up for you to hear the winners and nominations. And Zach Laws is going to kick us off with the first three categories.
Yes, and first off, we've got the award for Best International Feature. The nominees there were Another Round, Baccarat, La Lorna, The Life Ahead, and Wolfwalkers. And the winner is Another Round. Up next, for Best Documentary Feature, the nominees are Boys State, Collective, Dick Johnson is Dead, Time, and Welcome to Chechnya. And the winner there is Time. And finally, my last category of this round is the Best Animated Feature category. The nominees there are Onward, Over the Moon, Shaun the Sheep Movie, Farmageddon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. And the winner there is Soul.
Yeah, in these three categories, the only close one was Best Documentary Feature. Time won that by fewer than 200 votes, which is a comfortable victory, but it has, in some categories, there will be winners that have more votes than the rest of the field combined. In this case, Time didn't even have twice as many votes as the fifth place film, which was Collective. Welcome to Chechnya finished second. Boys State, Dick Johnson said they all had a lot of support. The other two were blowouts. Another Round did have more votes than the rest of the field combined, and Soul had more votes than the rest of the field combined. Wolfwalkers was in second for animation. Baccarat was in second for international.
And worth noting, of course, that, in international feature, Another Round is the only one that is up at the Oscars in that category. And documentary, the only two that are up there are Time and Collective. So, a lot of variations in our voters and the Academy voters. It just goes to show you, I think, just how many good films were out there that could have competed for international feature or documentary feature at the Oscars.
Now, I will be presenting the next two categories, starting with Best Visual Effects. The nominees are Birds of Prey, The Invisible Man, The Midnight Sky, Soul, and Tenet. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Tenet. And for Best Sound, the nominees are Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Soul, Sound of Metal, and Tenet. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Sound of Metal. Now, Tenet, again, this was another blowout. It won handily over The Invisible Man, and those were by far the biggest vote getters. Soul was in third place. And for Best Sound, Sound of Metal was pretty much the resounding winner. It might be the biggest blowout of these awards. I'd have to look at the rest of these as we go along. It had more votes than the rest of the field combined. It might have had more than double the votes or triple the votes of the rest of the field combined. Soul was in second place, but again, yeah, it was all Sound of Metal here.
Next are the two music categories. First, Best Original Song. The nominees are Fight For You from Judas and the Black Messiah, Husavik from Eurovision Song Contest, EOC Scene from The Life Ahead, Speak Now from One Night in Miami, and Wuhan Flu from Borat's subsequent movie film. And the winner is Speak Now from One Night in Miami. And for Best Original Score, the nominees are Mank, Minari, News of the World, Soul, and Tenet. And the winner is, shocking, Soul. Husavik was robbed, by the way. That's all I'll say.
Husavik was close. Husavik,
It should have won.
This was one of the closest races at these awards. Husavik only lost by about 40 votes, which is very close. There was a lot of support spread across all of those films. It was a lot like Best Documentary. But Soul for Best Score, that was not close. That was another blowout. More votes than the rest of the field combined again. It seems odd that this year there'd be such a strong consensus around like who the best is, that more than 50% of voters would pick one of these out of 5. But that's Best Score was a blowout. Best Song was close.
Okay, I've got the next 2 categories. First up is Best Production Design, and the nominees are Emma, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and Tenet. And our Best Production Design winner is Mank. And Best Makeup and Hair. And by the way, I mentioned this at the beginning, but just to remind you all, we didn't come up with the nominees. A couple of thousand people, maybe 2,400 people back weeks ago came up with all these nominees and then voted on the winners. So Best Makeup and Hair is Birds of Prey, Emma, Hillbilly Elegy, Mank, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And that is your winner, Ma Rainey.
Yeah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was a blowout for Best Makeup and Hair. Not quite as much as the field combined, but close. Birds of Prey finished 2nd, Hillbilly Elegy 3rd. Actually, 2nd through 5th was actually pretty close. But Ma Rainey really had no competition there in terms of close rivals. Production Design was also a blowout. Mank was number 1, although 2nd place was actually not one of the Oscar nominees. It was I'm Thinking of Ending Things. But again, very close between 2nd and 5th, and very not close between 1st and 2nd.
So next up is Best Film Editing, and the nominees are Mank, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Tenet, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And the winner is The Trial of the Chicago 7. Then we have Best Costume Design, and the nominees are Birds of Prey, Emma, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and Promising Young Woman. The winner of that award is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And for Best Cinematography, the nominees are First Cow, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, and Tenet. And the winner is Nomadland.
The only one of those that was a blowout was Nomadland for Best Cinematography. It finished 1st. Mank finished a distant 2nd, but they were both pretty far ahead of the rest of the field. Costumes was relatively close. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom only had about 100 votes over Emma. And film editing was closer than you might think, without Sound of Metal or The Father even nominated here. Trial of the Chicago 7 only beat Nomadland by 50 exact votes.
Hello, everyone. I'll be doing Best Breakthrough Performer, and this is a category that does not, single out people for 1 or 2 performances. It's just their name, no projects attached, and people voted for men and women in this category combined. So the nominees are Maria Bakalova, Kingsley Benadere, Sidney Flanagan, Paul Raci, and Yejung Yoon. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Maria Bakalova. And then I'm also going to do Best Ensemble. The nominees there are Da 5 Bloods, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, One Night in Miami, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And the Best Ensemble winner is The Trial of the Chicago 7, just like the SAG Awards.
Yeah, the Ensemble Award was actually another one of the closest awards, closest categories at these awards. It won over Minari by only about 40 votes, 35 maybe. Breakthrough performer Maria Bakalova had that in a walk. Sidney Flanagan was second. Kingsley Ben-Adir third. Another case where second through fifth all had a lot of support, and they were all really close together, but none of them really even came close to Bakalova.
Okay, up next we got the screenplay categories. First up is original, and the nominees there are Minari, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, Promising Young Woman, Soul, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And the winner is Promising Young Woman. Next up, we have adapted. The nominees there are First Cow, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Nomadland, and One Night in Miami. And the winner is Nomadland.
Yeah, Promising Young Woman won in a walk. Nomadland won in a walk. They both had several hundred votes over their rivals. Although interesting, sometimes I'll look at these and consider the Oscars. The second place for original screenplay wasn't Trial of the Chicago 7. It was Minari. So that's interesting there. And Best Adapted Screenplay, we only had 2 of the 5 Oscar nominees in our lineup. And the second place film wasn't that other film, One Night in Miami. It was actually I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which I love that it was not close, but that it had a lot of support.
Gotta love our voters, Charlie Kaufman being so close,
And I will be announcing the next 2 categories, which are the Supporting Acting Awards. And the nominees for Best Supporting Actor are Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat's subsequent movie. For Trial of Chicago 7. Chadwick Boseman for Da 5 Bloods. Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. And Paul Raci for Sound of Metal. And the award goes to Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. Best Supporting Actress, the nominees are Maria Bakalova, Borat's subsequent movie film, Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman, The Father, Amanda Seyfried, Mank, and Yajung Yoon for Minari. And the award goes to Yajung Yoon. And this was another case where this was not close in either case. Ironically, Maria Bakalova beat Yajung Yoon for Breakthrough, but Yajung Yoon was pretty safely ahead of her for supporting actress. Maria Bakalova did finish second, but a pretty distant second. And for supporting actor, Daniel Kaluuya also had a pretty overwhelming lead over second place Paul Raci. And then fairly limited support for the other 3. The vast majority of votes went to Kaluuya or Raci.
Next is Best Actor. The nominees are Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins, The Father, Delroy Lindo, The 5 Bloods, and Stephen Yeun, Minari. And the winner is, another shocker, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
And this was not as this was actually the closest of the acting awards, which is not to say that it was too close. Chadwick Boseman had almost 300 votes over second place, and that wasn't actually Anthony Hopkins. Second place was Riz Ahmed, and third place was Anthony Hopkins. But yeah, so like this was closer than you might think compared to other races.
Well, I've got the incredibly hotly contested Best Actress race. I don't think it was in terms of our voting, but it certainly is for this coming weekend, where people are all over the place on predictions. So our 5 nominees are Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Sidney Flanagan, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand, Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman. And Carey Mulligan is our winner.
And like as close as this award seems to be at the Oscars, this was actually the second biggest blowout among the acting categories, second only to Daniel Kaluuya. More votes than the rest of the field combined. And if you want to think that this has some bearing on the Oscars potentially, Frances McDormand finished second here. Viola Davis, who won the SAG Award, she finished fourth behind Vanessa Kirby, even though Ma Rainey's Black Bottom just won 3 of our other awards. So I don't know if that says anything about the Oscars. Who the heck knows? But Carey Mulligan was a blowout winner.
But I will say Andra Day wasn't nominated here, but people in the forums were concerned even before we announced nominations that not enough people had seen it. It wasn't available to the public right away. Same with The Father. If you're thinking, oh, well, The Father wasn't even nominated for screenplay here. I knew people before we even announced nominations saying, I wonder how well The Father's going to do or not do, because it's not really been seen by the public yet. Seen by the media, seen by the Oscar voters, not necessarily seen by the Gold Derby voters when we announce nominations. So take these with a grain of salt, and especially with those 2 movies.
Judas was also kind of late breaking, though, so I wonder if how it avoided the same problems.
Next up is Best Director, and the nominees are Lee Isaac Chung for Menotti, Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher for Mank, Regina King for One Night in Miami, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. No big surprise, the winner is Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
And this was a total blowout, more votes than the rest of the field combined, but actually not quite as big a blowout as Best Sound was for Sound of Metal. So it's not the biggest landslide of these awards. Emerald Fennell finished second, David Fincher finished third, Lee Isaac Chung and Regina King rounded out the field.
All right, now we have the final category of the morning, and this is Best Picture. And we do 10 nominations. We don't do a sliding scale. So our 10 nominees are I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Soul, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And the Best Picture winner is Nomadland.
Yeah. And this was a little closer than other categories, partly because we used a preferential vote for Best Picture, in that users could rank their top 3. Their number 1 vote got 3 points, second place got 2 points, third place got 1 point. So this did end up being relatively close between Nomadland and second place, Promising Young Woman, which is interesting. And if you just look at the first place votes, because we have both the first place votes and the total point scores, it's the same. Nomadland first, Promising Young Woman second, Menotti rounding out the top 3 there. Really overwhelmingly the most support went to those 3 films. And then Sound of Metal was 4th, and Trial of the Chicago 7 was 5th. So whether that has any bearing on the Oscars, I'm not sure. But again, we're always looking for as many clues as humanly possible. And just to summarize, the winners here, Nomadland was the biggest winner. It won 4 awards, including Best Picture. And then you had Ma Rainey's Black Bottom with 3. And then Soul, Promising Young Woman, Trial of the Chicago 7 had 2 apiece. So, we'll see what happens on Oscar night, whether these winners repeat, whether the Oscars agree with us. Last year was the first time in several years that we and the Oscars agreed on Best Picture. We both gave it to Parasite. Between now and the Oscars, you can make your predictions at Gold Derby until Oscar night on Sunday, April 25th. You can also predict the Independent Spirit Awards. You can predict the Razzie Awards. You can predict the MTV Movie and TV Awards that just went up. You can predict next year's Grammys. So many prediction events in film, TV, music, the Emmys, reality. So make your predictions or update your predictions if you haven't already. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to all of my fellow editors for taking part. And we will see you on Sunday.